recent graduates of the program was a young man by the name of Landon Haker. Before he entered drug court, he spent most of his life in jail, in institutions, homeless, because of the addiction that he suffered from. He was banned from the Rutgers campus because he'd been arrested there on a number of occasions, and over the years he slept blocks away on occasion underneath the Ben Franklin Bridge. He enrolls in drug court and goes back to college, graduates with a political science degree and a 4.0 GPA. He just finished his second year of law school at Rutgers Camden, and he hopes one day to be a defense attorney working as a public defender in the drug court system. Landon has been clean for 6 years. He credits drug court with saving his life. His college diploma hangs underneath his drug court diploma because, in his words, the greater accomplishment was going through and finishing drug court. Now, if you were to ask Landon about a weakness in the drug court program, he would tell you it is the ability to find stable employment for those that are in drug court. And he's right, because one of the most significant barriers for any drug court participant, for someone who has a criminal record, is to be able to find stable long-term employment.
It's the specialization of investigations. That's something that has really changed. This is no longer a police officer responding to a call, conducting some interviews, and wrapping a case up. It doesn't work that way anymore. Things have become too highly advanced. One of the areas that's a key focus for us is cyber. Everyone in this room has a cell phone, I'm sure. So do our bad guys, and there's a ton of evidence on it. Social media. Someone had a question about social media and how it's impacted. It may not have directly impacted on the procedures within a courtroom, but it has absolutely impacted on law enforcement. We use it in our investigations. We use it in an undercover capacity. We use it to find information. It is amazing to me what a defendant will post. Hey, I just robbed this place and look at this pile of money on my bed. Amazing. Too much. But it has absolutely impacted. And then for the lawyers, for the prosecutors, it's impacted as well.
Well, up until that point in 1979, when we adopted this new code and changed our sentencing structure, the state prison population in New Jersey was in a state of homeostasis. There were about 6,000 inmates in that prison system, and year in and year out, the number of offenders admitted to prison equaled the number of offenders who was released, and the population was literally a flat line. Well, Title IIC and the change to our sentencing code resulted in a significant increase in the number of people behind bars, and was the first of several policy decisions that I'll discuss that led to what is commonly referred to the problem of mass incarceration, and a significant increase in the number of people behind bars. So we went from a system of 6,000 state prison inmates and a state prison budget of $67 million to, at its high point, a state prison population of 32,000 and a state prison budget of, anybody take a guess of what we spend in New Jersey on prisons every year? $1.2 billion.
You know, we have been at the forefront of a number of major important reforms, if you will, changes in the criminal justice system. It was lawyers from our office that targeted and improved the extent of racial profiling by the state police in the 90s that led to real systemic changes in the way the state police do business. We were instrumental in the abolition of the death penalty, which took place in December of 2007. The law having been on the books for 25 years, and our office having successfully defended every single client from being put to death. Not one person in this state was executed during that 25 years. And now we're a year and a half into what, in my opinion, is the single most important change for the better in the history of this state's criminal justice system. And that's what is commonly referred to as bail reform. But for reasons you'll understand in a minute, we do not permit the use of the word bail in the public defender's office. It is banned. I banned it. And the reason I banned it is because it's not bail reform, it's bail elimination. That's what we did. We eliminated monetary bail. So we don't use the term. Last year there were 44,000 cases brought against citizens of New Jersey charged with offenses, and judges set bail in 27 of them.
At this site, it's in the middle of the city, so right across the street from us, there's these young men, all right? And they're selling drugs there. That's what they're doing, that's how they're surviving, that's how they're making money. As you know, a lot of these people have felonies and they can't get jobs. You know, they have a very difficult time finding work, so a lot of time they resort to selling drugs to be able to, you know, sustain themselves and their families. A lot of these young men have children. And so we're at this site and they see us and they come over to us and they're like, hey, what are you guys doing in here? You know, like a group of 3 or 4 of them. And so I'm like, you know, we're cleaning up this garden because we want to start growing vegetables here. And as we grow these vegetables, we're going to donate them to a soup kitchen so that we can feed the homeless. After that day, they told us right there on the spot, they said, Raul, after I introduced myself, they go, Raul, we're going to make sure that this lot is clean and that nobody else goes in there to use drugs. And that's the power of our community courts, is that now we create accountability amongst the community.
So our team, our job is to provide support through social services. We are doing swift and effective interventions, which means that after somebody is seen in court, within, you know, usually 2 or 3 business days at most, they're sitting with Raul's team, they're doing an intake. Those questions that they answer, and it's pretty comprehensive, are being reviewed by a social worker or a social work intern. And we are then assigning individualized services for everybody. So it's not that everybody comes up and you have 3 social service days and you go to orientation, you go to drug abuse group, and you go to one-on-one session. No, we read all of these questions and we have a host of services that we choose from, and everybody's groups and combinations and services and schedule is different and tailored to the answers to the questions that they gave us. And so sometimes, you know, we're asking not just about drug use and mental health use, we're asking about victimization history. We're asking about medical history. We're asking about family support systems. And so we might see that there's an awful lot of drug use going on, but we're not going to put you in our drug group or our substance abuse readiness group because we also saw that you were shot in the leg 6 months ago and that's why you were in the hospital. So you're going to need to talk to us about this before we figure out treatment readiness, per se.
There are all these polls that are out there that say, you know, 60% of New Jerseyans want to legalize marijuana. We did a poll, and the FDU or other people did a poll. And I said, you know, polls, rather than just give people 2 choices, what if we did kind of like what Mark did with some of you? What if we give you multiple choices and say it's not about legalization or not. It's not about putting you in prison or legalizing pot. What if you put in decriminalization, medical marijuana, multiple things? And basically when you do that, and when we did that, you can't read that, but when we did that, the support for legalization went from 60% to 40%. And actually FDU liked that so much that they did on their own a survey here in New Jersey and found that a fewer number of people than they had originally thought supported legalization when you give people choices. And the lead pollster, who's very well known in the state, Krista Jenkins, said, you know, this should give people pause about, you know, when it comes to the idea that everybody wants this. It's kind of like my conversation with the TaskRabbit yesterday. Like you give them the yes or no, and it's like, well, yeah, I do want that. But then you give them more choices, and I don't think the average person thinks it's a great idea these days for for-profit companies to be advertising and commercializing THC candy.